Hey everybody, how are you doing? This is Datu Tim and my a lovely co-host.
PG Ties here. Welcome, everyone.
This is FMA Talk Martial Chronicles, and it's been a long day, but got some cool stuff to talk about today. Got a very interesting show, which could be a game changer if the rumors are true. Although I don't think they are. And I want to talk about a couple things. One of which is the Tri-State Modern Arnis Camp, which was a huge success from what I've been told. And but let me see here. Before we get on with anything, as I'm prepping some photos right now, please, as usual, like the channel, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and hit that notification button. And by all means, feel free to share this video wherever you feel appropriate. So, with no further ado, let's get into this. So, PG Tye Botting, along with PG Chad Doolin, is this the third?
Yep, third year in a row.
Third Tri-State Modern Arnis Camp for the World Modern Arnis Alliance, which is great. It's awesome because they had a very successful event that weekend. A couple of different cool things that came out. So I'm going to, right off the bat, give it right to PG Tye so we can talk specifically about that camp because he was there and I wasn't.
I was there, yeah. Yeah, so it was great because I think we had a total of 23 or 24 people, instructors included, really 4 major instructors. The cool thing was, our friend Jeff Berger showed up, and also our friend Dave Sinkbale. Both shared some things. I think Dave did a couple sections. Jeff did a couple sections. Chad and I did a few sessions. And we also had some new black belts doing some sessions put on the spot, and they did some really good exploration of footwork combined with Filipino dance. We covered a lot of ground. And everybody, offered to us. That's without us asking. Offered lots of feedback about, hey, the value for their time and money, and in fact, actually, some people signed up for Jeff's session afterwards. He had a separate session, and showed up for that. And sometimes they left early and they just said, hey, keep the rest of the money. So to me, that tells them they got a ton of value for their time.
So, Bill from Guam says hello. He's in the Philippines at the moment. Terrell Richardson, hello, my brothers, and welcome back, PG Tye and Datu.
Hey, Terrell.
I have my popcorn and soda ready.
Great.
We've got Jason Arnold saying hello.
Hey, Jason.
Jason Farnsworth saying hello. So, Jason, okay, so Guam, but in the Philippines. Okay. Terrell in Maryland. Jason in Canada.
Yep.
Jason Farnsworth says hello, and he's coming in from Ohio. Mm-hmm. And evidently, this is being streamed live to the Lynetta Park now.
Right.
There.
That's right.
And I've been told that they're all listening into this show because what we're going to be talking about. And PG Craig Mason says hello. So, PG Craig did an event up in Northern Ontario. He did a racist Arnis sparring event. He had like 16 people there. You guys had 20 some odd people at yours. Yep. The WMA knocked it out of the park this weekend, which is, I think was a great number considering we just did the anniversary camp less than a month ago.
That's right. Yep.
Or no, it was a month ago. It's great that, and one of the things here is they had the flag that flew over ground zero at your event.
That's right. We had a good picture of that. Oh, and I should say that Joe Lennon came and taught as well. The other good thing about it is, by the way, and this is a thing I think we hold a high standard to, is that every time when we're doing multiple sessions like this, all the instructors are out there on the floor training with the rest of everybody else too. And I think that sends the right message.
I have a rule in general because, and when I've broken the rule, it bit me in the ass, but it's a little different now. So as a general rule of thumb, I usually, if I'm on the teaching bill, I usually don't participate
until
all of my teaching duties are done. But I think it was actually when Dieter and I did the double Datu seminar, I started getting back out more. I was just smarter about my partners and knowing the
Right.
material that I felt comfortable doing. And the reason why I say this for those who haven't been out there, I am a professional seminar instructor. Okay, so while Remy was alive, I was doing 20 seminars a year. After he passed, 30 plus seminars a year for 2 decades. And while I was building my career, a lot of people, I ended up filling in a lot because people who were on the bill got injured and I'd be attending events. They go, "Hey, Tim, can you do a session for us?" Yeah, sure, by all means. Anytime. And any event I go to, I'm always prepared to teach. I don't go expecting to teach,
Sure.
I go prepared to teach because you never know. So, you didn't do any gradings down there, did you?
No gradings. Nope. We did recognize one person as a friend to the arts because he's out there supporting all the different FMA groups like we are. We thought that was kind of cool, so we did that.
Nice, nice. Okay, so has absolutely nothing to do with anything, but I'm going to share it. So for you guys, this was a conversation I recently had the other day with people, and I've been doing a lot of antiquing lately, just getting out of town, and Janice and I are, doing our thing. So we were in Canandaigua, and there's Canandaigua, so there's a big chair. But we found something that is said no longer to exist. Wait for it. If you're not familiar with this is, it's a telephone booth. We actually found one. All right,
Nice.
there it is. There's me saying, "Hey." So
Wow.
then I decided to have a phone call, and then I decided to be super Datu. But then I realized I was already in my super Datu outfit, so there's no need for me to change. LOL. Wait, I just hashtagged, verbally hashtagged. Oh.
That's a bad sign, unfortunately, but yes, we'll recover.
So I just thought it was kind of an interesting thing here.
Yep.
I want to talk about something that happened on the show a couple months ago. I wanted time for it to subside a little. As kind of my rant. It's kind of a so I was leading into the anniversary camp. I've had some people help me try to promote the event and stuff like that. Well, I had a person give me a holler after one of our shows, and we talked. And so and this is just something in general. This is advice to everyone. I talk about this all this time. A lot of times people say and do things that may inadvertently offend people. Now, allegedly, I said some pretty strong words at a seminar in my school. I was teaching this happened 8 years ago,
Hmm.
and it was just brought up like 2 months ago. So I'm teaching a seminar 8 years ago in my school for Pontotocan, and this individual was working with somebody who felt that he had mental challenges with. Now, I've been around people with mental challenges. My students, I've had a whole bunch of my students. I've been there. I've got people who are on the spectrum at the moment who are training our niece right now.
Yep.
And I'm very in tune with that. When I was a kid back in the 70s, we used language by calling each other retards and stuff like that. Now it was never acceptable, but that was the norm back in the day. And we've evolved past that. I'm very particular about the words that I say. And sometimes when people hear something you say, they misinterpret. And sometimes they hear what they want to hear. And there's the other end of the spectrum. When I worked for Advanced Auto Parts, I made a comment. Oh, no. When I worked, no, I was talking to another school owner about one of my offers. He goes, "Well, what do you do?" I go, 6 weeks, 6 for 69. I'm like, well, I can't do that. I go, "What do you mean? 69? What are you talking about? $69. He's talking about the sexual position. And I'm like, well, people will go there. I'm like, no, Mike, you went there. People didn't go there. You went there. You're thinking about that. Now, I've had Sirius Radio for a long time. And with the if you listen to, say, the Howard Stern show, and you hear certain childish comments. You're expecting people to say different things, but we're talking about in the professional world. And a lot of times when you say something, people went there. Like, as a martial artist, I talk about my accomplishments when we're advertising what we're doing. And, you know, um, Dan Anderson, as an example, was a very successful tournament competitor. Would you not agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if he was talking to you about his tournament career in general, without any making this a neutral comment, would you perceive this as him trying to attack you?
No, not at
Okay.
all. Yeah.
No. So one of the things I'm very proud of is that I was the highest tested black belt in modern Art that we know of. And some people in the modern East community took that as an attack. What are you trying to say? Well, I'm not saying anything. I'm talking about me. Well, what are you saying about us? I'm like, well, what are you saying? You telling me you didn't test? And well, you'd get no answer out of that one. So obviously they didn't test or didn't test for certain belts. And
Right.
by saying that you're the highest tested black belt, that's saying something about me. No, I'm not saying anything about you. You
Right.
think I'm saying something about you.
Right.
Well, this goes back to that conversation. Like I said, at the end of the day, if somebody says something, you need to ask for clarification.
Right.
So what allegedly happened, this guy was working with somebody whom felt that he had some mental challenges, and he said, like I said, conversation 8 years later, hey Tim, you said this something about being retarded. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I listened to I listened to him. He was just telling me that he wanted to clear the air and something. I let him speak. I'm like, okay. So, and I actually talked to Janice about it, who's been around me 20 years. And she's like, there's no way in hell you would have said anything about someone being retarded in a martial arts seminar format. There's no way in hell. Tell an off-color joke, sure. Say something off the top of your head that you were thinking about something and your inner dialogue was going and someone else did something else. No, maybe. This person couldn't get the conversation right from the night before show. So really, I'm like, okay, you're talking about something that happened 8 years ago. So I'm sorry, it's not valid to me because and potentially I could have said this, and even if I did, I think it was, one of the comments said, well, maybe you maybe you said it was dumb. Well, oh, that's completely something different. Well, if the guy doesn't block, that would be pretty stupid. Okay, so if I punch, my computer's bleeping at me.
Yeah, you're breaking up in the middle of the stuff too. Weird.
Okay, so and Jason goes, and these are full contact humor friends of mine.
Right.
You might have called me a retard, lol. Okay, and he covered Spearman. What do you mean? You covered Spearman too? Okay, whatever. Not sure what that is. So one, like I said, this person called me the night after one of our shows, couldn't even get the information that you said about the show the night before correct. Secondly, using stuff that I can never see myself saying in a seminar format. So there's two parts of this. First thing, when we're at a seminar, when you're listening to people talk, if you hear something, Speakman Academies. Yes, we covered Speakman Academies because Speakman didn't show up, and I ended up teaching, and Jason was with me at that one. Yeah. Okay. It's the context because I've been called crazy. Behind, of course it is. Yeah.
I think and Terrell's called me things too, but we're joking back and forth. Again, these are like private comments. That's a little different.
Right. Yes.
I'm gonna have to go out and come back in because something's weird with my speakers.
Okay, I will.
So let me do that.
Okay, you do that. Okay, so he's going away. I've got rid of the branding so I don't look like Cyclops, because otherwise I'd have this modern dot in the middle of my forehead. See, yeah, that's kind of annoying, isn't it? I'm special. Waiting for Todd to come back in. So, I prefer him to be in on this, but I'll continue saying, listen. So when we talk about things, put a different one thing in. There, it makes me feel better. One, when you hear things and it doesn't sound quite right, I think the first thing we need to do is say, am I? I'm sounding bad? Okay, hold on. I'm going to do it. Hold on one moment. Hopefully this won't end the broadcast. Actually, I'm going to wait for Ty to come back in. Maybe this is better. Can we hear me now? Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me now? I don't know. Okay. So in the meantime, I will just go with the mindset that you can hear me. And I don't know what my friends are doing here. This is silly. All right. All right. Yep. Still sounds bad. Okay. All right. Okay. So hopefully that sounds a little better. Give me a thumbs up or down or whatever if you can hear me now in a positive way. You're sounding robotic, much better. Okay, good, good, good. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I had a moment there, and it may have been one the feedback that I was getting. Ty has logged out. Okay, cool. Ty logged out, and he's going to be coming back in. So listen, I'm going to talk about me. I'm not going to talk about others. I'm going to talk about me. So my guys like Jason and Craig and Ty and Chad and others have been around me a long time, and they know that I am running multiple conversations in my head as far as like I'll see someone, we'll talk about something, and about 3 months later is the next time I see him. And while we're talking, I just pick up like it was just 2 minutes ago. I'm talking to someone about one topic. I'm thinking about the next thing I got to teach. And I've got a couple inner dialogues on some other things because I might even be writing a speech and I'm going over some things in my head while I'm doing all this stuff. And sometimes things come out of my mouth not in the way that they're meant. Or like, what the hell are you talking about? We weren't even talking about bilateral nuclear disarmament. I'm like, I don't know. That's just something I'm working on. Okay. So, there we go. So I've been told the volume is much, or the audio is much, much better.
Okay.
So, but as I was saying, I was telling the guys, and you can confess this, I've got like multiple dialogues going in my head at all given moments. Someone will walk in the room and, hey, what's going on? Give them a hug and start talking about something we talked about 2 months ago, like it was 2 minutes ago. And then I'm planning things and working speeches out in my head. And then I'm also thinking about different topics for the show. And I talk to you about some stuff. And it's almost as if we were just talking about stuff. And sometimes when things come out of my mouth, like only 2 or 3 people in the room know what I'm talking about because, this is going on. So
Right.
A lot of times people, things don't come out necessarily the way they're intended. Now, listen, when someone says something you don't understand or don't like, because how I know how I think, the first thing I would do is ask them to clarify what they were saying. Did I hear you right? Are you really saying this,
Right.
or am I am I misinterpreting what you're saying, or you just didn't articulate it properly? Second thing is, let's say someone says something that's bad, like so, like this person thought that I made a comment about someone being retarded, which I would never make that comment, but he perceived it that way. And like I said, even though we talked about it, he goes, "Well, you said it was something like it was dumb." Well, that's not the same words. And what do we say all the time about words, Ty?
Words matter.
Words matter. What I say and what you think you heard are two different things. But here's the thing. Let's say I'm a piece of garbage jerk and I said something intentionally and I'm chauvinistic or I'm a racist or I'm a Republican. I don't know, whatever. I'm non-denominational when it comes to my political situation. I want to vote for the best candidate. So that we just haven't had one in decades. So just for the record. But the thing here is, if you're upset about something I said, I own that moment. If you don't confront me for minutes, hours, days, weeks, years, you own all of that.
Yep.
And this is something I wanted to say, but I didn't want to say it right when it went on because I also wanted to focus more on the things of the camp and the stuff that was coming up. So, one, when you hear something, make sure you're not listening for it. Did I say it, or is that where your mind went? Just as we make a comment and someone's mind goes in the gutter, oh, that's not what I said. Oh, you said this. I go, no, I said this. Well, that can be perceived as that. Well, that's where your brain went, not where my brain went. Secondly, if there's something that I did say, you should ask for verification, but don't sweat all this time that you took to finally come to pony up and talk to somebody. If it took you a year to get the backbone to actually talk to someone about this, and you're pissed off for a year, that year is completely on you. Now, if I'm a complete jerk afterwards and I was that guy that you thought I was, well, then I own all that myself. But still, you put yourself through that anguish that you didn't need to. See, personally, my mindset is I might say something. Hey, Rich, I might say something unintentionally to piss people off. I might say something that completely could ruin a relationship. I just know how life is. Something comes out of your mouth and people are just so visceral about certain topics, you just can't talk to them about it. Yep. Why don't we talk about politics on the show? Because we don't want that here. I like talking to people about politics because I'm on a search of knowledge, but I don't want to be political with my decisions and comments, which is a completely different thing. I like talking about religion because there's a lot of religions out there I don't know anything about, just like I talk about martial arts because I'm on a seeking of knowledge. But if I say something, one, we should ask for clarification, and two, if I do say something bad and it's a non-forgivable act, it would be great if you talk to me about it and give me that opportunity to fix it. So if I can't fix it with you, make sure I don't repeat that accident or that mistake again in the future.
Sure. Yeah.
And hello, Frank. We got the Parsons and the Tchaikovsky on deck.
All right, lots of folks tonight.
Okay, so listen, I'm not going to go any further because I know the Philippines are listening, because we love Billy Joel. Okay, Billy, here we go. I got to ask the question, or maybe I did. Were you named after Billy Joel, the singer?
Billy Joel, yeah, maybe.
Anyway. Is that it? Here we go. I'll let you read it. Datu T, what do you think of Pintado style? Who is that person?
That's the swear insult thing name.
Okay, well,
they're being
Pintado. Pintados is my brother.
Yeah, Oliver's a great guy.
He's part of our organization.
Yep.
He's teamed up together.
He actually pays homage to Kombatan as well, but I get what you're saying. A lot of times he's pushing his own stuff, which, he's got his own program, so he should do that.
Well, I think there was a couple reasons. And Miguel Ruby, hey, brother, are you still in Europe or did you get back? If so, we got to work. Well, looks like I'm going to be hosting, as in a host, for the first. I'm back. Good. Okay, so I'm going to announce it right now. We don't have a date, but we're going to do an East Coast Yaoyan camp.
Oh, nice.
Because Miguel has some of the top Yaoyan fighters in North America teaching in his facility. So
Nice.
we've talked about, once things got worked out for logistics, if they needed an East Coast location to do an event, I'd be more than happy to do it. And look at that. Boom. Shakalaka. So, So I'm gonna. Oh, excuse me. I'm gonna try.
I don't know. He sounds kind of hesitant there.
Yeah, just a little. Just a little. Okay. So, listen, Oliver Pintado. Listen. He left Coma. Oh no, he didn't left Comaton. Ernesto died, and shit went sideways. And he sidestepped the whole thing. He said, "Let's make it happen." There we go. He goes. He decided to do it on his own brand. I go, listen, in modern Arnis, there are people that we know that have created their own program because they wanted to get away from all the politics of all the modernists feuding and fighting. Yep. It's not the first time this has happened in the martial art world.
Right.
And just in the Filipino martial arts, a lot of people just make up their own style because they want to be the top of their own style. That's not what I'm saying about Oliver. Okay. All right, so let's make it happen. Yeah, let's do this. And hello, Darren. Darren, heard good things about you at the camp this weekend. You must have paid a lot of people off. So,
yep. Not really, no.
Iron Tree was very impressed with both you and Rose. And Jason, Oliver is our brother, inner circle for sure. Yep. So, and I'm teaching with him. So. Okay, so let's talk about today's show. And actually, I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions because, okay, so recently, and Terrell was at one of the places that this has happened recently. There's been a conversation on more than one occasion here, not on our show, first time on our show. There are people who have PhDs who practice martial arts. There are people who are doctors who practice martial arts. But now people are getting doctorates in martial arts or PhDs, or at least they're claiming that. Now, if this is true, this is a huge game changer. Now, for me as a professional school owner, one of the biggest things I have to deal with is that with the kids, the teens, they can't get scholarships in martial arts. So other sports that'll give them those opportunities, they have a tendency of doing. And, we, as a martial arts on their resume, it might help open up some doors, but it won't get them that scholarship by itself. It's an additional activity and stuff like that. And people look on it in a very positive way, but it's still not the same. Now, if that's the case, this is huge. Now, I'm going to ask the question because this is not my field of expertise. Because now, PG Tye here has a doctorate. Terrell Richardson has a doctorate. There's Dr. Jerome Barber. Okay. Dr. Meng Ji, my Bondo instructor. Now, of these people right here that I know of, none of them have degrees in martial arts. Oh, Dr. Jeff Leader, if I didn't mention that already.
Right.
None of these people. What?
Dr. Patrick.
Dr. Patrick. Yep. Is Chaz Terry a doctor?
Yes, he's an MD.
Okay, an actual doctor. Okay. So, Dr. Pat. Yeah, yep, Dr. Pat. Yep. So, but these guys are all doctorates in something that is non-martial art related. Now, in a conversation on Terrell's Facebook page, guy he was teaching in Singapore, I guess it was, and there was two people going for a doctorate in physical education, but they're Taekwondo people, and they were doing everything via Taekwondo. But at the end of the day, even if it was all Taekwondo, what's the degree in? Physical education.
Right.
It's not. Billy Jula is a doctor? Oh, awesome. Look at that. I didn't even know that.
I never knew that. Yep.
PhD, MD, or?
I think MD.
That's cool. Hey, Billy, actually, where's Billy?
And by the way, of all the people listening in the Philippines, this is you are paying attention. Magandang umaga. Okay.
Billy, my shoulder hurts when I do this. What should I be doing?
There you go. Well, and then
so MD. Okay, that's cool.
So doctorate's a family of things, right? So even almost all lawyers have a Juris Doctor. They don't go by doctorate, but that is a doctorate. So Darren, who's on, has a Juris Doctor. Brett Salafia is a Juris Doctor.
I surround myself by all these smart people because I'm not that smart. So now, back when I first when I researched things on this topic, I was told that this does not exist in the martial art world. There is a difference between, and there have been accredited martial art courses taught in universities, usually by a staff member or something of that nature. But let me ask, so have you ever heard of anything about a PhD in martial arts?
A couple times it's come up. So like you said, so in Europe it's not super common, but it happens as part of the physical education program. So then they call it that. That's fine. There's been a couple of non-accredited colleges, kind of degree mills and things like that have come up. But there's a couple, few and far between, that do offer a program, and we should probably talk about that. I don't know when we want to get into it, but I guess we should first off talk about the types of doctorates, right? So I mentioned that there's JDs and MDs and things like that, right? Mm-hmm. So there's really two types of doctorates. One is sort of a research doctorate, right? And that's your science, right? PhD, philosophy, like economics, whatever it happens to be. Research ones are basically include Doctor of Philosophy. That's what I have. Doctor of Education. That's what Dr. Barber has. Doctor of Theology, right? And Doctor of Business Administration. So those are examples of research doctorates. Then there's also professional doctorates like MD, mm-hmm. Doctor of Optometry, right? Optometrist, Doctor of Psychology, which is different than the MD route, but PsyD. And then, of course, I mentioned the Juris Doctor. The reason that's important is because that's applied. So you have research doctorates and you have the applied doctorates.
My first black belt, Jeff Leader.
Jeff Leader has a PhD in math, right?
Okay, so where does that? I mean, because this is so beyond me. So I need help with this.
No worries. No, that's a research doctorate, and so for research doctorates, what you have to do is original research, and you have to then write a dissertation, which is 200-300 pages ish. Document is based on your original research. That's peer reviewed and peer published usually, and then defend that in front of your peers that are also PhDs and also PhDs from other fields. So there's an academic process for doing that for the research PhDs. For the MDs, ODs, PsyDs, JDs, right? There's a bunch of coursework and it's applied. So there's other aspects that go on there. I'm not so familiar with that. I'm sure Darren can talk about it. But there is not a dissertation. So they don't have to do original research, right? So if you get your MD and a PhD goes up to them and say, hey, what'd your original research come into? That's sort of a poke back and forth, a friendly poke between the different types of doctorates, which we do. But all of those, even the professional ones or applied ones and the research ones or academic ones, are all given through the auspices of usually an accredited academic organization. That's your key. So especially with the research ones, you got the accredited organizations and you have the original research defended and your dissertation, not a thesis. A thesis is a gathering of already published information.
Okay.
That's for masters. A dissertation is what PhDs use. So anyway, those are some things that go behind. What do we mean doctorate? Doctorate's a big family of types of degrees. And then there's, 2 branches in those, and then, so on and so forth.
Okay.
Does that help a little bit?
In general, I'm trying to get things together here. So I'm going to collect my thoughts here real quick. Let me go to these guys real quick, and then as I collect my thoughts.
Sure.
So first of all, to my Abon, to my knowledge, they had their own system, and they also trained with Remy.
That's my understanding too, but I'm not so clear on that.
I think a lot of people went and joined forces with Remy because he was in the school system and he needed foot soldiers, and they all came together, and he was able to offer stuff, from there. They found their own system. I meant, and hey, brother, don't worry about it.
Right.
My Tagalog is terrible, so. And then ISM. Okay, here we go. I'm just waiting for this one. Here we go. Boom. I am a PhD, pretty hot dude. Okay.
I say I'm a postal digger, PhD, postal digger.
Okay, here we go. Bill, there are a few people who get honorary degrees, aka doctorate degrees, from schools. Yes, when they use it in their titles. Okay, and
well, let me talk about that for a second. Honorary PhDs, honorary doctorates. There people get pretty persnickety about that. So you might use those as titles, sure, but it's not going to get you a job that requires a doctorate. Sorry, not going to happen. Your experience and your expertise might, but that's not going to be because of this honorary PhD or honorary doctorate of other sorts that you get. It's just not going to happen.
Calm down. Calm down. All right,
honorary doctorates kill me every time.
Here we go. So applied doctorates usually have a licensing board.
Yeah.
That's and then Jason says, correct. I'm assuming we're talking about Abon because Abon was just in Toronto this past weekend. So there's a lot of modernist-oriented type things or related things. Most doctors are in the martial arts, have a 4-inch wide belt, large gut. Wait a minute. Except for the 4-inch side belt, this sounds like you're talking about me. And talk about kidney, five, and gallbladder. Oh, no, I'm always about liver stuff. Never mind. Okay,
there you go.
It's not me. I learned a lot of history on him this weekend. Yep. If you hit them, yeah. There's spline 6. That's my point exactly. Experience counts. Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna. So many things to say and do.
I already covered a bunch of things I wanted to say because you let me have a wide range of background.
I wanted this because this is good. Because all right, so okay, Canada. Okay.
So only MDs that are practicing physicians can do that, and only within their field of whatever they're licensed for.
Or if you happen to have a doctor's notepad laying around, which
well, yeah, that's not legal, but sure,
hook you up with that too. Because I studied to be the doctor myself. I just never got past the signature part. I got that part down really well.
Maybe I should have gotten the medical rep. My signature is horrible.
Never. You see, that's it. That's exactly. I mastered the signature. No, I never even tried to become a doctor. So
Right.
If they are a doctor, then their dojo can be taken to health insurance.
All right.
Actually, I can. Because a lot of health insurance companies offer so I'm already.
They will support sometimes these physical activities. Depends on the jurisdiction and all that stuff.
So I'm a step ahead of the program already.
That's funny.
I'm just. Oh my goodness.
So for these two types, so Darren and I got things covered. If somebody thinks they have a doctorate from X, it's either one honorary, and honorary ones that count only come from academic institutions. 2, if they did the research branch, they should have a defended dissertation. So let's read it. And 3, if they're professional doctorates, then they should have a license to show. There you go.
We must be doing something right because Billy from the Philippines likes what we're saying. She's giving us a smiley face, so she's down with us. So she gets our humor.
Very good.
So okay. Oh shoot, that didn't work out at all. We'll have to.
But I actually have on my links right now. I have a couple of places that do offer doctorates, PhDs in martial arts. One does it through the PE program, and one offers supposedly a PhD in martial arts by itself. These are universities, doesn't mean they're accredited, but that's what they're doing. Again, though, that's way different than some organization or
Okay.
backyard school doing it.
So my doctor is a proctologist, but personal opinion, yes. Oh my goodness. And then those PhDs in the martial arts has nothing to do with rank. It's a lot about their egos.
Well, that's that normal bifurcation, right? So you got a high rank of any sort. We'll just call it elbow macaroni, right? If you got a high rank in any sort, it's either because about egos or it's about the students. One or the two. It seems to be a giant divide.
So, yeah,
But we're getting lots of comments.
Hey,
Anyway,
here we go. Here we go. It goes, well, actually, here we go. Let me see. Noah. We'll go with Noah here.
controversy. Yep.
The PG Tie. When's your FMA thing in Virginia? Is it this fall?
Fall, September, likely late half, something like that. I'm not sure yet.
I want to talk to you about dates too, because I got Dominic coming in doing a active shooter program, and I want to make sure that it doesn't get in the way of me coming down supporting.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Good.
Billy Jewel. I'm sorry, I'm on duty, but still want to hear you there. Okay. And then here we go. Dr. Leader.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. A PhD requires an original contribution to human knowledge and publishable quality. The dissertation, hundreds of pages, must be publicly defended. Absolutely. And there it goes. Absolutely. LOL. And then we've got pretty helpful Datu. Okay. Okay. I now have a PhD. There we go.
Well, I don't know. Are you pretty helpful? Sometimes.
This could maybe today. This could be a good one.
But yeah, Jeff said another way of saying the same thing that I said. So that, again, that's on the research side.
Okay. So, I'm just trying to, there's things, I'm trying to be the nice guy. It's not good. This is not good on me. I'm usually the bad guy. And I'm about to, I think I'm going to go down that path.
Well,
it might be better for me to go down that path.
If people are interested in other points of view, there's 3 sites I can send them to get their PhDs in martial arts if we want.
So we don't know if these are accredited colleges. Now, talk to us about what that means.
So an accredited college has a recognized program in the academic good standing that supports granting of recognized degrees. So there's a kind of I'm not sure exactly how that happens. It doesn't seem to be as formal as I might have imagined. But you can imagine, Johnny come lately, I'm going to put together a college, boom, I'm going to do stuff, is going to be different than your established, proven colleges of record. And that's the latter I'm talking about. And there's a way that they get established like that is accepted. And that's the accredited.
And Jeff said, yep, I was backing up Ty. Yep, that's what we thought. But I'm still a pretty helpful Datu. So I'm going to go with that PhD.
There you go. So people can go to like martialartsphd.com. Now that is not as far as I can tell, it doesn't look like it's a college. There's what is this? AC Global Learning, and that is looks like a person's not made up. Everything's made up, right? Person's homebrew college, and then there's GAMAO.org that offers a Doctor of Philosophy and Martial Arts, and that looks like a interesting college too. So I can't find anything that's like UCal Berkeley, Texas A&M, University of Pennsylvania. I can't find anything like that with a doctorate in martial arts.
All right, so Terrell's egging me on. I guess I'm gonna have to say something soon here. You can buy a doctorate in martial arts certificate from Taekwondo for $50. Actually, I think it's a little more money than that. I don't know if it's Taekwondo, but LOL Noah. And then forget going to college, going clown college.
My links are horrible because one of the ones that is $497. You get your PhD in martial arts from this.
Congratulations, Datu Tim. There we go, Datu T. There we go. Thank you.
College or cult? Well,
okay. So, I'm just gonna get right into it. Okay. So, is the next level Doctors of Tappy Tappy?
Nice.
So, it's funny because actually, I'm Terrell's page, Dr. Jerome Barber really defended his doctorate, which is what I expected him to do. But someone in his sphere of knowledge is someone who's claimed to be a doctor. So here's the question I'm going to ask you, because this is what, as far as I know, the only difference is the tax break. Nice. Here's my question. Let's say I legitimately have a doctorate, okay, and you don't. We'll do role reversal. I'm you, you're me. Scary world. Really scary. It's like a Freaky Friday on steroids here.
There you go.
But I'm the doctor and you're not. Can I grant you doctorship?
Sorry, I'm laughing pretty hard because that doesn't happen. Now, that said, right, universities are created usually by people with doctorates, but again, there's that whole process. So no, doctor, just because you have a PhD, MD, JD, all those other ones.
POD.
That's right. Any of those, any D's, DSci if you're in the Europe or Britain.
POD. Oh no, that's a band. My bad.
There you go. No.
That says no.
So, like, even if I wanted to, and I got someone trained up, and they could reproduce my research or whatever without a university, that would be, they could probably get published in a peer-reviewed journal, and that because you don't need a doctorate to do that, but it would be of that quality, and eventually they'd probably get recognized with that honorary. That's again where the experience told the story. The university setting and the academic path is something to get you your foot in the door, so there's a known baseline. So if I do that, we don't have that.
So Remy is the university. Mm-hmm. You are one of its graduates and earned a black belt / doctorate. Mm-hmm. And you don't have the authority to issue that, but you can coach your people to go the same path that you did. And if they have the skill and the knowledge, then they can get their black belt / doctorate from Remy. Comparing the black belt to a doctorate, not saying a doctorate in martial arts.
Right. So interesting. Most of these places that offer them, they recognize that you got to be at least around 4th, 5th degree level to even go through their processes. But yeah, in principle, is the path that you're painting. I get what you're saying. And, yep.
Yeah. So, So to me, okay. So we're gonna go. So that pretty much covers everything. So, So Terrell, I'm gonna paint something here, and you can tell me if this came out right or not. Let's say first, I heard doctors in martial arts can't be published as a doctorate for magazine articles since they're not certified board doctors.
So in censor, they didn't have a doctorate from an accredited university. That's different than certified board. Board certified doctors are usually MDs, right? That's that professional track. So board certified means a specific thing for specific subsets of doctorates. For general doctorates, and you still have to go through accredited university, and so that's the words that usually come out in those. But yeah, that's what action martial arts does, right? They don't put a doctorate in front of your name for that. There's all sorts of weird other things, like so people that are, there's a big debate about whether PhDs should be called doctors, et cetera, et cetera. Juris doctors like Darren Esquire never get called doctors, just not part of the thing. But I recognize that he has a doctorate and it was hard earned. Yeah, there you go. I think it comes free with your 13th degree.
Yep. I guess we're getting it from the same place, but I expedited it. I'm getting it in 24 hours. So I should not say that while Ty's All right, here we go. Rocky, in martial arts, I'd rather learn from a BMF over a PhD anytime. Yeah.
If they can share any of it in a reasonable way, sure.
And like Harold, Hiltz, nice to see you. Catching up a little late. Okay. So and I want Terrell, I want you to listen to this. I'm going to paint a story for Ty because Ty is the expert here. He is the expert. That's why need a 4-inch belt to hold up those degrees. Okay. All right. So, was that you getting messaged or me?
I think it was me, but I don't know.
I think it was.
Oh, it was our WMA brethren.
Yeah. So, okay. So here's one to throw out. Here's the scenario, and Tara, you tell me if this is what happened. So someone gets promoted in martial arts, and the person they're hosting, happens to be a doctorate and a grandmaster, and she ends up promoting this person not only to, I don't know, PG to Tuhan or Grand Tuhan or whatever. They also gave him a PhD in martial arts. Now, if I got all that information right, is that, you're telling me that that is not how it works? Is that, or is there something I'm missing here?
Not normally. So there is a sort of a discussion about a doctoral degree versus a title, right? So the degree, just like any other academic degree, has to come from accredited college. That said, right, martial arts could come up with any title. It could be, Worm Licker 5000. There you go. That's my title. and nobody could say anything. So there's these games you can play. So somebody could do that if they wanted to, and it would be part of their structure, but it could not legally be touted as, and this is true, legally be touted as a accredited degree. So there are laws against degree mills and laws against, and Darren could probably talk to this more. I'm not sure what field of law he's in, but
wow. So this sounds very McDojo-ish to me. It sounds very made up to me.
Like GGM and things like that, SGM and GTS. And
we can go down that path.
Well, we already did, so I figured I'd keep going.
Oh, here we go.
There you go.
Too many screens going on. Worm Licker sounds like.
Oh, okay. I should have chosen elbow macaroni, or
Oh, here we go. You're on point, Tim and Ty. The title's BS. Yeah. So, listen, I'm just going to give you my personal opinion and just take it for what it's worth. If you did not go to an accredited university, if someone's claiming to be a doctorate in martial arts, where's your thesis? Where's your paper?
Dissertation.
Where do you defend it? What?
Dissertation.
Where's your dissertation? And we're talking about defending your dissertation. I'm not saying standing on the line and coming out all challengers into a kumite. I'm talking about breaking it down and
you joke. I threatened to do that as soon as my committee was in there and I was doing my defense. I locked the door and said, "Okay," it rolled up my sleeves. I'm ready to defend. They didn't think it was very funny.
They've got no humor.
No, but I did. I made it anyway.
Okay. Well, that's okay. You made it through. Anyone can be a doctor, even if they're always okay. Look at Fauci. All right, let's stay out of that one. Okay, we said we're not going to go political. It is funny, but we're not going to go political on the show. So it sounds like to me that this whole doctorate in the martial arts is that there are no legitimate ways that we know of at this time.
There have been a couple inroads started, and like I said, there are these fringe areas, but you're still going through an academic institution. You're not going through, Joe's group of martial arts friends or something like that.
Let's ask this one. So, now this could be rough because, Remy Praces went by Professor Remy Praces.
Yep.
And we're he taught at a university, and when you're teaching in a university, usually use the term professor, and we think that title may have been honorarily handed out to him.
Yeah, it's common practice in a lot of places to use that as a generic honorific, even if that's not the title of your position, right? When I was at Teaching University, I was a visiting assistant professor, and I was also a research professor. But again, so I didn't teach physical education things, so that wouldn't carry over, right? Remy taught PE program with Arnis and brought it into the schools, and it makes sense for that to just carry on. They called him professor, and they kept calling him that. So it's pretty organic, and I think benign.
But he had a legitimate tie-in. It wasn't just something. So, I know I've talked to people who have a problem with martial artists going by professor when they have they've got nothing going on in the academia world.
Right.
So, We do know it's throughout Parker's Kempo. There's all these professor titles in there. We know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu uses it, and actually, evidently,
Yep.
in South America, it's kind of a cultural thing. But we're talking about the U.S. and Canada right now,
Right.
where we live, where most of the action goes down. Not all of it, but most of it, you know. So, go ahead.
As you say, I think there's some interesting translation concerns there, right? So some places in the world, the way you would translate guru or maestro would be master, right? So some places guru might be a first level teacher. Other places, you're not getting that until you've been doing things for, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. But I think the same thing happens, professor. Hey, you're a established teacher for the organization, and it's just a normal honorific that seems to come out organically. It's not, since it's not a degree, it doesn't have that same thing. So it could be the title of a position pretty easily.
And listen, I've got no skin in that game.
Right.
That being said, some of my friends don't like it, and I respect where they're coming from.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get involved in that one. Once again, don't have skin in the game, because I also have to then look at with professor. But at least with professor, which we talked about, he had that connection because he was teaching in the universities.
Yeah.
So he just didn't just make it up one day and say, "Hey, I'm going to go by this." Because
well, and so there are culture aspects. We know that in Germany, right? Normally, if you're going to be in a formal introduction, they will list, just like in the old days of heraldry, all of your titles. So in my case, it'd be hair doctor, seafood professor, Punong Guro, all of the things, right? But we don't do that in the States. So there's a lot of other things that come into play because we're talking about international people getting together and training.
right, and and what's done in one country is different than another, and so we cannot. But I think the doctorate thing is pretty solid globally, as far as we can tell.
As a degree, yes. Like I said, in I know it's a little more common in Europe at least, but as far as I know, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, because I know how to be wrong. That's one of the main things you get from getting a PhD is you know how to be wrong. Is that they go through the physical education or something along those lines pathway, and sure you could have it as the complete and utter specialty of that, but so it would be kind of like a noted in your degree, but it would be a degree in that thing, maybe parentheses martial arts.
So once again, if someone got a degree in physical education and they did it by doing stuff about martial arts, it's still not the same as being an actual professor.
That's right.
Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go through here.
I think we're behind.
Handing out those titles are bogus themselves. Okay, those handing out those titles, these titles, have bogus titles themselves. Okay, so we'll go with that. And America, everyone wants to be so competitive with their titles and grow. GM, SGM, PhD, MA, and people pay back the ranks titles bogus. Okay, got that right there. Here we go.
You got to stand out. Yep.
We live in a society. Schools are getting rid of master's degree due to slaves, not their master's skills of the trade.
Right. Okay. It's one of those things again where words have meaning. The intent matters. So if you're a master of a trade, you're not trying to say anything else. Anyway, go on. Yeah.
Well, like the master bedroom. Now they're not using that in.
Right.
I'm like, really? Come on.
Right.
Yet some of the people that they're concerned about offending are actually saying, "Where's my master bedroom?" So.
Right.
Yeah. All right. In Kempo, I'm a senior professor, but I don't use it. Okay.
But you have every right to do. It's part of the normal.
Right.
I think.
Get a doctor, and be the shogun of Harlem. There we go.
There we go. So I haven't seen people saying shogun. That's what they should do instead of doing some of these other ones. Let's use some other titles.
Doctorate needs accredited school recognized exam. Yep. Submit their license to a board and can. Okay, so here's what I got to say, especially those people who refused to answer my question last week when I reached out to them directly on this.
Right.
Can you follow this? And if the answer is no, then you know where you can put that doctorate?
So he was talking about the professional, not professor, but professional doctorate needs all that stuff. So
right.
Yeah,
well, that's what I consider a professional doctorate.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, actually, this show is going to be really short because I really don't think we have much more to say.
It's pretty straightforward. Now, anybody who so it's kind of the thing. So it's like when you got in trouble, not in trouble, got some flack for getting the title Datu, right? That wasn't on you, right? That was Remy. Go talk to Remy. Same thing. So if there are people that are getting it and they didn't ask for it, that's no skin, that's
No,
not their
no,
fault.
no. I'm going to disagree with you on that.
Okay.
Because if the person knows better and takes it anyways, bad on them.
Well, I'm pretty sure most people don't know better. I mean, it's.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Mr. Something Tiger knows exactly what's going on because he also reached out to associates to verify whether it was true or not. Other people. Oh, you froze there, buddy. Did you make an appointment with the doctor or talk in front of the desk? Maybe get back to you. And then I'm going to go to my lieutenant colonel at the school. Okay, I'm going to go by lieutenant colonel at the school. I earned that at least. Okay, you're back. Did I freeze or was it just you or both?
I think my internet freaked out for a second. But all I'm saying is that so I know that there just a lot of confusion about doctorates of all sorts. So it would not surprise me if somebody got out in left field pretty easily. Now, that said, you could learn the other side of it. That's true.
Well, okay, so here's what I'm going to say. I'm Datu Tim.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't promoted by a committee. I didn't submit any paperwork. I didn't ask for this. Professor Prasis was the one that awarded me the title of Datu based on an established title he'd been using for 20 years.
Yep.
And of course, everyone gives me shit because I'm a white man with the title of Datu, which, but it's Muslim. No, it's not Muslim. It's Filipino.
Right.
Okay, so right off the bat, know what you're talking about. And then you don't have paperwork. No, actually, I do. I might be the only one that does have paperwork. There's only 6 of us from Remy.
Yep.
And all these late Datus, we'll talk about that another time because now I'm getting sick of some other stuff that's going on there. But I'll let that one go. If I went to Hogsworth's gift shop at Universal, can I be a wizard? I think you can, but you need to. Okay, listen. You need to go in the back room to get the special stuff.
Did you read Rob Guida's comment? I'm not sure.
Yes, I was. I'm going to go by Lieutenant Colonel.
I just wonder if you read that because he earned that. And you know what? When people are retired or active duty, and I like to use their rank just because I respect them and I thank them for that. There are people that go by, for example, Colonel. And we know one. That is not. So there's a big push, of course, in what is it called? Stolen Valor. Just look up Stolen Valor, and that's the military version of made-up doctorates.
Yeah. So, okay. So here's what I'm going to sit there and say. Oh, okay. I'm going to let that one stew for a minute. Hold on.
All right.
All right. So I'm pretty much done with this conversation about doctor. I'm about to give my wrap up. Do you feel that you're done?
I think I'm done. I would encourage anybody, if they're concerned about it and what kind of level works in, hey, my doctoral dissertation is online on my website. Pull it up and read it if you want to see what kind of happens. Or look up some of our friends like JD's. I'm sure you can look up the license of, for example, some of the people that have licenses. I'm not sure. I'm not going to throw names out there, but you can do the dissertation. There are places to search up dissertations. There are places to check licenses. That's part of the reason we do that.
I'll be known as the president of martial arts, and then veto these doctors. Okay, that'll work.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you my wrap up of this topic. My license is public.
I thought so. Sorry, I was about to say, and I didn't want to throw you out there.
Okay,
Thanks,
all right.
Darren.
So that's good. Okay, so here we go. Here's what I'm going to say. So first of all, if you were promoted to a doctorate in martial arts and you have had no idea about what this all is, you should have did your research after getting it, before using it. Mm-hmm. Any title that you're going to use, you should understand the repercussions of this. Now, the one I didn't know about the Datu issues. But here's the real issue. Most of these guys didn't have the balls to say boo to Remy.
Right.
Because, and to be honest, okay, now I know Kelly said that he's had a lot of problems. I've never heard of anybody complaining about any of the Datus until I became one.
Well, the others, a lot, some of the others that would fit in the same boat was you didn't get out there a whole lot, right? Except for Kelly and you.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, I mean, and there of the 6 Datus, only 2 were Pinoy.
Right.
So now, I don't think someone being of color gets them a pass, because that's another thing I've been told recently.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's you're not Pinoy. End of story.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what color I am, it's I'm not Pinoy, and that's okay. Oh, Sir Datu Tim, you're absolutely correct. Okay, so here's my position. So I received the title from Remy. He chose to use it, and I was the last of 6 people to get it. He's been using it for 20 years, and I never heard anyone squawk until after he passed away, and I was an easy target. Why? Because I'm a very visible target.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of, if not his most visible student for teaching Remy's art. Now, Kelly Warden is an also very highly visible person, and it's not only for doing Remy's art, it's for his Renegade JKD and National Spirit. So probably the 3 most visible Datus for martial arts would be Kelly, Dieter, and myself. Now, the other one that's more visible, but no one would know better, would be Shishir, because he was a Ninja Turtle, but no one would know him because he was wearing a mask, a full body suit. I don't really think people know who Shishir is as a whole. Now, there we go. What's this? So if you were the last Datu in modern age, okay. So if you were the last, then those Datus that have Datu. Okay, my dyslexia is kicking ass today.
I'll read it if you want.
You do that. Okay.
Terrell says, so if you were the last, then those that have Datu and Modern East is not correct. So he meant the ones that came after, right? If you were the last, and then Remy died, then how'd the others happen? I get it.
So some people have chosen to use the title Datu in their organization. True. But as it relates to modern Arnis, there was only 6.
Or there are a couple, I'm not sure how many, but came from a Datu Award, right? From which is a different thing.
Vincent Sanchez, before he passed. Yep. Actually, Jerome Barber was one of them. And Tim Kashino, when he made the announcement, which you can search on Martial Talk, his post was, now listen, don't get twisted. This is not the title. This is just an award. Now, I guess somebody decided to use it as the title either way. Dean Frankel says hello.
And people take titles right and left. We know that.
Doc Brown, where is Marty?
That character actually was a PhD physics guy, but yes, I get you.
Okay, so with going that route, if you're a martial artist who's been given the title of doctor, you should do your research. And if you do your research, I don't know how you can, if you go through all the criteria of what it takes to become a doctor. Now, maybe you talk to some people who have doctorates and they're trying to be nice because they're your friend or whatever. But at the end of the deal, you should do real research. And we've already talked about right here. First of all, you can look up your doctorate.
Yep.
You should be boom, done. There it is. You should be able to look it up somewhere. But right here, a professional doctorate needs accredited school. Recognized exam. What recognized exam did you do? And submit to a licensing board that can suspend or revoke your license to practice.
Right. So that's then the professional or the non-research ones, right? The research or academic ones. Remember, I already talked about that. That's what Jeff said, which is the dissertation, defense, all of that good stuff.
So
there are 2 paths. So actually, I got one thing here. Yeah, nice. We'll laugh at that one. I got one thing. So a good friend of mine has a doctorate in martial arts from a program. His teacher had been working with the university to start an accredited program, and they started, working that, and he was one of the first trials of it, and then that never finished. And it was a Colorado university. It was a recognized university. It never got finished. So he still has that. I would never ding him for that, but his was a proof of concept rather than, a running process, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So it was on the track to get legit. Does that make sense?
Yep. So now you receive a doctorate, do your research, and we just talked about it right there. Unfortunately, at this time, it doesn't look like martial arts is a recognized doctorate. Now, you could have a doctorate in physical fitness or sports medicine or whatever. Can students? Okay, hold on. Can students of doctors in martial arts file malpractice lawsuit? I think they can. I really do think they can.
So I was going to say that, so malpractice can be filed against lots of people. However, again, doctors, MDs, not the same as PhDs. No such thing as malpractice normally for PhDs. But anyway, sorry, I'm getting picky here because I'm a PhD. There's a JD.
So I'm
we have
going to still
Billy's
take a shot here.
an MD. Yeah.
So those who have taken the title and used it without doing your research or found out that you're wrong and used it anyways, bad on you. If you're walking around with a doctorate in martial arts and haven't done these things, sounds like someone has fooled you or ripped you off or whatever. And those of you out there who are handing these things out, stop the bullshit. Stop the freaking bullshit. At the end of the day, you're lying to people. And now I'm not going to name names. You know who the hell you are. But at the end of the day, we knew the answer to this before we even started. But I wanted to give it a chance to see if maybe I was wrong. I'm not. I'm right. Okay, here we go. People really need to worry more about being able to actually use the stuff they're learning for real and not worry about these freaking titles. Exactly.
Probably everybody, yeah.
As a fell doctor, I agree on being a doctor of love, and not as easy as sounds. Dr. Pepper gave it to me. Yes. Okay.
Nice, because he was a doctor also. Got it.
Amen, Tim. Okay. All right. So, Ty, do you have anything to wrap up there? Because I'm going to go back to the comments.
Only last one is finishing my comment about my friend who got that one that was on the path to, going towards accredited program. When he got that as a proof of concept, guess what he doesn't do? He doesn't use that in his bona fides.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
So,
okay, so I'm gonna go back. So basically, we are saying right now that it's been bunked. It's an urban legend. There are no martial art doctors, and the people who have received them and the people who are giving up should just stop it right now. And once we find someone that can legitimately do all that, come talk to us because we'll promote what you're doing because it'd be great for our industry. But until someone gets that accomplished, stop the freaking bullshit. Okay.
Like all the other things that come up with titles and all that stuff.
Okay, so here we go. Carol asked the question: how can other doctors?
You did put a pin in that, and you came back to
come up after Remy has passed away. So first of all, I want to talk about this. Remy does not have a copyright on that term.
Sure.
So any organization can choose to use the term Datu. Okay. Now I'm going. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. So let's say somebody chooses to use Datu. Let me see here. I mean, anyone can do whatever the hell they want, right? I mean, it's no one's. Like no one owns it. You can't copyright it.
Speaking of which, it's a term, right? Filipinos use, and it's sort of. I'm going to do this very loosely, everyone, so don't beat me up too much. It's sort of in between a combination of a earl and a cardinal. Put those two together, and there you go. You've got something similar to what is behind the thought process behind Datu.
So Datu itself, real simple. It was the chief of the tribe.
Right, but it has spiritual connotations too.
Yeah. Now I talked about Ted Buat, my Balintawak instructor, and he just made a comment to like Tim. You have Paul Doughty was with me. And he goes, "Hey, I go Ted, what's going on with this Datu thing? Can you shed some light on it?" And he goes to Paul, do you have a school? Yeah. So it's your own little tribe, right? Yeah. Well, you're the chief of the tribe, so you're a Datu. Then Paul like, oh, I'm officially a Datu. Stop it. I'm going to make your ass walk home because they drove him from London, Ontario. That would be rough. So, now if this is as sacred as people make it out to sound, okay.
We already answered that. Okay.
Absolutely right. Tim hit the nail on the head, right? Okay. I'm sorry. No problem, Jason. Jason, we'll talk to you soon. So how many Datus are there in modern East for Remy and Sub? Okay, so first of all, what I want to do is share this real quick because we talk about, I keep hearing about all this bullshit on how sacred the title Datu is. This bullshit. What do we see right here? A black screen. Okay, so Datu Boogie. This is a guy karaokeing.
Yep.
Can you hear the music?
Yep, I can hear it.
So we're not going to play that. That would be bad. All right.
I've got a new title to play on what Dragon's saying. Datu.
Got to. There you go. But there are multiple Filipino bands and rappers that have used the term or the name Datu.
There's some sort of food or something like that too, or a cleaning product.
Well, there's the vinegar product as well.
Yeah.
Datu Botting. Okay, now if it's such a sacred title, why would they allow a food product being called? I mean, the arguments make no sense whatsoever. So okay, we have Datu plus Dr. PR equals Datu plus Dr. Datu Doctor win-win. Terrell says ha ha ha. Terrell says ha ha. Okay, listen. So there's only 6 of us. Shashir Nakala was the first one.
Yep.
In order that I know of, Kelly Warden, Bong Hernandez, David Hoffman, Dieter, and myself.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Boom. There's a thumbs up right there. Now, I'll say one of the professors I had in college had a last name of Datu. There we go. It was, are there any other FMA systems that use the term Datu in their structure? So right now, Black Tiger Kali has its official Datu because, which I talked to Harold about this. So Harold was a Modern Ernie student. Okay, he's no longer a Modern Ernie student. He's got his own system now.
Yep.
He was never a recipient of Modern Ernie's, and when I talked to him, or of Datu title, when I talked to him about this, it was Grandmaster Queen Ruby that said it was okay for him to do this.
Gaudioso, 200 Gaudioso Ruby.
So, and that's when I made the comment of, hey, you might want to. I hope your guy's got thick skin because, he's not Pinoy. Oh no, he's a guy of color, so it should be okay. I'm like, I don't think that was the case. And he goes, and people begin to accept you. And he almost was like, oh, well, Tim, you're doing a really good job. And I'm like, this is not about me. It's about you. But let's talk about this. And Morn and Mindy saying Datu. It's Morik and Mindy. Datu.
Nice.
So actually, that's why I want nothing to do with the Modern East Hall of Foundation, whatever it's going on, because they. This sounds familiar. We're promoting him. Yeah. Promote him again this year. He may have been a recipient of a doctorate title as well. So, listen. When it comes to Modern Ernie's, there's only 6 of us. And Michael Bates's Hall of Flame Foundation, who's been issuing several of these, and evidently just promoted promoted someone a couple of years ago during COVID, but finally gave the certificate this weekend. None of them ever received Datu. There was no. I mean, it's like, who are you? So this is why I won't work with that. There's a multiple reasons why I won't work with that association and the people affiliated with it, because. To me, it makes no sense. If you wanted more Datus, then the Datus should have got together and promoted someone. Now, personally, at my mindset today, there was 6 of us that were promoted by Remy. End of story. I do not feel that I will be handing this title on to someone in the future, but I might change my mind. I know Kelly Warden said that he's actually planning on willing it to one of his students. That's his call. But the thing here is, in my opinion, these were the 6 recipients. The Datus were hand chosen by Remy. And when you give it to somebody else, then it dilutes that title. Just like when Brian Zelensky issued a Master of Tappy Tappy title to he did an honorary to Bambit, and then he promoted Roland Rivera to one. So in my opinion, right there, and I'm waiting for Dan Anderson to be the next, but in my opinion, right there, that now takes the title and makes it useless, because if the Masters of Tappy Tappy were handpicked by Remy Prices, well, that statement is no longer accurate. The Datus were handpicked by Remy Prices as it relates to modern Arnis. Not if other systems use the term Datus, because I've met a few others out there that have used the term Datus. I use Major Domo.
There you go.
I'd use that. Okay. I could do that. So, so that's a topic, and these guys brought it up, not me.
That's right.
So there's a whole bunch of people that I won't be working with because they continue to propagate that. And I'm like, and here's the thing. Funny.
Doctor of Love, Doctor, got it.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm gonna get that one later. I go, if you're with an organization that's doing something and you're in an administrative position, if you don't stand against something, if you don't stand in front of someone, you stand behind them. So I've talked to people that during Modern Ace, when the organization split and went multiple directions, well, so-and-so was doing this, that, and the other thing. Well, did you stand up and do anything against them? No. Well, then you stood with them. Taking no action is an action itself. Okay, so in the future, I may find my own system and call it the high rank students of student sultans. No, the problem, it's only titles. Or maybe Rajas. Actually, I've had the Filipinos tell me that that's what they've implemented in modern Arnis.
Yep.
And I think it was just to undermine the Datu. Mm-hmm. Because they said, oh, we have the Datus, then we have the Rajas, and then we have the Sultans. And I'm like, for titles, I'm like, are you really just trying to, I mean, most of you guys were our juniors anyways, but are you really trying to shift the paradigm to the Philippines? Really? Really?
The unfortunate thing about humans is there's a large enough propensity for one-upmanship, just for its own sake, that this is always going to be a problem, no matter what, right? We could go on and talk about any titles. You could talk about, yeah.
Yep.
Presidente.
El Presidente. Okay. So I think that wraps it up right now. I think we dealt with the Datu one as well. Right. So, but really, what really boils down to is doctorates and PhDs in the martial arts don't exist. There are martial artists who have doctorates and PhDs, but that's different. That could be an episode. Datu and its meaning. We've actually done a couple, but if you ever want to do one over there, let me know. Let me know.
I think we've done, yeah.
Yeah, we've definitely done that already.
We did part of that. We covered Punong Guro and some of the other ones we used too, right? We did our structure plus Datu by itself, yeah.
Hey, speaking of which, I want to talk about a potential show while I'm on here, Modern It's not just, listen, Rocky, it's not just us. You just see it here. Modern East has less problems than most other styles do. You should see
just X. We won't say names. X, Y, and Q.
Especially Q. Q is the worst. Oh my goodness.
That's right. That happens in academic circles.
Problems that other systems do.
But it happens everywhere. Academic circles.
Oh my god. Well, in martial arts, it's great because I remember.
Depends on the organization or system.
So in modern Chinese, you could be a guru well before you were. Guru just means teacher.
Right. Whereas in, I think, Bikini, it's the other way around. You can be Lakan before you're a guru.
Yeah. So I mean, in modern Chinese, the Lakan is just the designation for male black belt Dayang, which, by the way, the term translates to wife of the Datu.
Right. But so
Yeah,
So
James didn't like that one.
Remy patterned the Lacan after Don, and they have a similar meaning. But
Yeah. I stand up for a stand. Okay, I stand up, and I stand for something like Don. Okay. Stand up in front of trucks and challenge them to still undefeated. Okay, all right.
Don Quixote reference, very nice.
Okay, could be a good episode covering the difference between ranks and their meanings as a whole. Yeah, sure. All right. Here's what I was actually thinking about talking about in next week's show if we don't get a guest. Because we still need Rocky. We got to schedule him.
Yes, please.
I'm reminding you. And then, while you were out of town, our main man that we were talking to down in at Bobby's birthday party. The guy who showed us the disarm. I can't think of his name right now. The Bedoy system.
Dan Medina?
Dan Medina, we got to set. He talked to me.
Yeah.
Hey, let's schedule it. I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
God, we planned that last fall, darn it. Yeah, we need to get him on.
Yeah. That could be an episode of it here. I like that, Dean. Okay, so we need to do that. But next week's show, unless something else, here's what I was thinking about: both comparing Remy's approach and Ernesto's approach to teaching what they taught.
So we'll actually talk about the craft of teaching.
Well, I'm also thinking the intent of what they were trying to do.
Oh yeah, what's behind? Yeah, good.
Well, I mean, because here we go. This could be a good teaser. Remy's intent was not to produce Filipino martial artists. Maybe initially.
Yeah. Not in general.
Over here.
Yeah. Not when he was. We had the big giant tide of Remy stuff rolling. That was something else. Yes.
Remy, I think Remy did a great job as improving people's ability to defend themselves by teaching them Filipino martial arts. I think Ernesto did a better job of producing Filipino martial artists. And could we talk about that? We could talk about that dynamic.
I got one exception to that, but yes.
Okay. We'll talk about that later.
All right.
We'll save it for the show. I've got nothing else. So October will be. Oh wait, there we go. Darren, let's PG means and then Lacans, etc. Yep. So there's going to be probably one or two. I'm going to miss probably one show, maybe two in July because I'm going to the Maya. Actually, no. So next week we're not doing a show because it's the 4th of July.
Okay, that's right. Take care, Rocky. Next Monday, right? Yeah, we're skipping next Monday.
Next week, Monday is the 4th of July, so we're taking the week off.
All right.
And I don't think we do a makeup class. Our makeup one. We're just
makeup class.
There we go. Yeah, makeup class.
I'll do push-ups. I'll do push-ups.
Tentatively, we're going to do something on how Remy's approach to teaching martial arts, the approach, like what the product was.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they didn't produce the same product.
Right.
Okay, they didn't try to produce the same product. And then the other one, yeah. So then we'll do that week, and then we'll probably have another week off because I'll be in Vegas, and I'm not going to do the show from there. I'm going to be there for the Maya Super Show, and then we'll get back to.
We might get more viewers if you could do the show from there and get a showgirl or something.
They don't exist. They're fakes. They walk around dressed like showgirls, but there's no shows that have those girls in them.
I've never been to Vegas.
I don't like going. I don't go. I don't like going alone. Like with Janice being there, we'll probably catch a show or two. That's cool.
Yeah.
But the last time I went, I was there for the Super Show, and I was there by myself. And I would meet up with with friends who had family there,
Mhm.
or the family members were there. But there's a lot of times where I'm just like, yeah, this is not cool. It's not my thing. I mean,
Gotcha.
you know, I don't need to go Vegas for any kind of debauchery. I can do that in my backyard. So, but that's about it. Yeah. So I think we're good. So listen, everybody, we will work on some details on the upcoming show. Um, I love to be on the show, but I'm going to 1 month doctor camp on the island, like Mortal Kombat. Well, if you make it through, we would love to see you on the show. We can talk about what that camp is like, and then have a great night. Decompressing from Ty's and Chad's camp, which was outstanding, by the way. Yes.
Thanks to you, Darren.
Ryan, I really enjoyed the show. All right. And then I think that's about it. So everybody, please, as usual, stay safe and stay sane. This is Datu Tim.
And PG Ty signing out.
All right. See you all soon.